All right. So YouTube is up and Facebook has decided to update now, of course. So I don't know if that will kick back in. Oh, YouTube on my phone is too. That's scary. I think we're good here though, right? All right. So let's see. Here we go. All right. And then YouTube is good. Oh, sorry, Jinxie. All right. Over here. Hey, feed. Miss. Trying to eat the carpet. All right, we'll see how this works. I don't know, having the two cats in here, if this is going to be chaos or what. So it's cold, and I think it's going to get colder. Yeah, we're good. In the next couple of days, pretty much everywhere. Pretty much. Let's tilt that just a smidge. Oh, too much. So what we're going to do today is build some heat on our own. How's that? I think that'll do. So a couple of things you can do to build that internal heat is obviously work harder, right? I mean, you get sweatier, you know. So yes, obviously, but the way you move and using your ujjayi breath will increase that. So that's our plan for today. We're going to move with the breath. We're going to build that internal ujjayi breath. That'll bring a little bit of heat. And you decide how hard to work. It's really early in the year, and if you're off your routine, I just got started back on mine after like 3 weeks this past week. And my sinuses still aren't great. So if you look up and I'm not doing anything, that's why. Right. So hopefully that won't be an issue. But if it is for you, hold back a little bit, right? Take an extra rest when you need one, or modify something. Or maybe if you just need a super chill practice, last week's practice is the one you want. So, of course, every day you get to make these decisions for yourself. I don't, oh, YouTube can see it. The cats are getting crazy. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. All right. So they can go crazy somewhere else. All right. So let's go ahead and begin standing. Finding your feet underneath your hips. Take a peek and make sure your toes point forward. And then find the four corners of your feet. Anytime you're standing. Like, so notice how you stand in line at the grocery store or wherever you might, find yourself standing. Right? Notice what's going on with your feet. Being mindful. And then pressing down into the four corners, try and relax your toes. A little tuck of the tailbone, lifting the pelvic floor. The lower belly's engaged, the sides of the body are engaged, upper belly's loose, right? Or relaxed. Not loose. Rest your shoulders down and back. Go ahead and close your eyes and take a moment to be here. And always take a moment to see if there's any areas in your body that you need to be a little extra careful with this morning. Something that might need a little extra stretch. And always keep these things in mind as you move. So then noticing your breath without doing much with it just yet. And we're going to create that ujjayi breath. So if you haven't before, take a little second with me and bear with me. If you have, you know what to do. So inhale through your nose and then exhale out your mouth, nice and noisy. Close your lips, inhale through your nose. And open your mouth, exhale noisy. Do that again. And as you exhale this time, notice how the back of your throat is open to make that noise, right? So this time, inhale through your nose, keep your lips closed, but open the back of your throat like you did. And when you exhale, you'll be exhaling out your nose, obviously, but you'll still hear that noise. And you may or may not be able to hear me do that, but I definitely hear it, right? Someone standing close to you could hear it probably, right? So keep that idea, keep that openness in the back of your throat. And as you inhale, you'll hear a little bit of a noise as well, right? And if it's just in your sinuses, that's one thing, but try to bring it into the back of your throat. It doesn't have to be particularly forceful for you to keep that, being able to hear your voice, right? It's just another way that we can kind of keep track of the fact that we're breathing, keep that heat moving in the body as we practice. So keep that idea. And on the next inhalation, go ahead and stretch the arms up to the ceiling. And exhale, take them back down to your sides. Again. One more time. Back to the top. Let's inhale. Go ahead and interlace your fingers at the top when you get there. You can rotate the palms toward the ceiling. We're going to exhale, tip right. Inhale back to center. Exhale over to the left. So follow your breath and move side to side. Keep steady in your feet. Let's go one more time on each side. When you're back to center, release the arms. We're going to take the hands to the thighs here, keeping the shoulders back on the way down. Exhale, come into a half fold. And then a bend in through the knees and round back up through your spine, inhaling back to the top. So again, like that, exhaling forward and inhaling as you round up. Go ahead and take a few more flows like that. So come on over into that half fold then here and hold it this time. We're going to bend into the knees enough that you can rest your forearms on your thighs. And you can lean if you feel that you need to lean. Here, let's take that left hand and sweep it up toward the ceiling and let your body kind of lean, right? You'll lean over to the weight will shift to the right. Your hips might shift to the left. Yeah. Let that happen. Releasing that side, come back to the center and switch. Come on back to the middle again. And take your legs straight. So shoulders are going to stay back, belly's going to stay in. Maybe you're parallel to the floor, maybe you're not even close to that, right? Wherever you are is your halfway point. Not really, but for our purposes here. This might be it. Right? But for our purposes here, we're going to call this halfway. With your breath, On an exhale, see if you can sink into that just a tiny bit deeper. And then inhale back into this halfway point again. Leaning on the legs if you need to lean, of course. Every exhale, we're going to try and move into just a little bit deeper stretch. And if your hamstrings are very flexible, you might be able to really move into this in and out, right? If you're not, you might be able to just barely move. So see where you are and take your time and see where you can go. Again, it might not be a big difference, but just finding that place is where we want to work. So we're going to take one more breath in and out like that. If you haven't quite found your full fold yet, just wait. And then we're going to hold it. So again, here you might sink into just a little bit deeper stretch. You may still be in that halfway place, leaning with your hands on your legs. It is what it is, right? If you want to use blocks or something, totally fine, but try not to let your shoulders sag toward the floor to reach the blocks, right? Bring them up so the shoulders came back and the spine can be neutral. The back side, really, not just your spine. From our fold here, go ahead and bend your knees if you need to get your fingertips to the floor, and we are going to step the right foot back into a lunge. You can drop the right knee if you want or not. We're just going to kind of roll around into it a little bit. See how far you can stretch that leg back there. Again, here you can drop that right knee. We're going to take the left leg straight-ish. Propping up again if you need to prop up. You can even use your shin or your thigh. That's a little tricky for the balance sometimes, but do what you need to do for your body. And then bend back into the knee, and we're going to step back to our down dog. So wiggling around in down dog for a second. And then settling into that. So pressing through your heels, press your chest back toward your thighs, let your head hang between the arms, feeling nice and even on the four corners of the hands like we talk about with our feet. And then from our down dog, go ahead and step the right foot forward. And we're lunging on the second side. So the same idea, just kind of wiggling around into it, walking the feet closer or further apart, dropping the back knee if that's where you need to be. And then finding that center, pull the legs toward each other up underneath you and take the right leg straight-ish. Remember to modify if you need to modify on this side. Sometimes you do on one and not on the other, right? Big, noisy ujjayi breaths. And then bending into the knees, stepping back to our down dog. So let's shift forward into a plank and hold plank. So drop the knees if you need the knees. Make sure that the belly isn't sagging, your bum's not sticking up in the air, your spine feels neutral, your hands are happy, head in line with the spine, and back to down dog. Let's step the left foot forward into lunge. And then let the right foot join the left. Fold. Bend into the knees here if you need. We're going to take the index and middle fingers, wrap them around the big toes. Legs are straight if you can make them straight. Either way, elbows bend out to the sides. If you need a little extra here, you can pull against your toes to draw your belly toward your thighs. One more big, noisy ujjayi breath here.
And then we'll release the toes, taking the fingers to interlace behind the lower back. Shoulders pulled together, knuckles stretch away. Try not to hyperextend at the elbow. Keeping your shoulders moving away from your ears. And then release the hands. Bringing the hands up to the thighs again, into that kind of halfway place where we started. This time, we're going to bend into the knees and sit into a chair. So tuck your tailbone under. You don't want your bum sticking out back there. Lean on the legs if you need to lean on the legs here. You don't need to lean the hands center or extend or wherever you want to put them. Let's take one more breath. Inhale, stretch to the ceiling, and release the arms. So we're going to take a standing back bend here. So thinking about the four corners of your feet again, stay nice and solid in your foundation. Sorry. Yikes. Little tuck of the tailbone, keeping your lower back long. Hands, you've got some options, whether you want to support the lower back, interlace the fingers behind the back again. You can take cactus arms or extend toward the ceiling if that's you. You can change your mind in the middle, of course, if you need. So we're going to tuck those shoulder blades together on the back, lifting the chest toward the ceiling. So itty bitty back bend does not have to be a big deal. It's early, give yourself a break. Tucking the chin toward the throat keeps you from just hyper, what's the word I want? It's not really extending. We don't want to just flop the head back. We don't want to compress the cervical vertebrae. Big full breaths. With an inhale, gently make your way back up to the top again, releasing your hands from wherever you have them, and then supporting with the hands on the thighs again. Come over into that half fold-ish place. And just hold here, support on the legs if that's where you need. And then bending into the knees, roll on up through your spine, all the way back up to our standing position again. All right, so we're going to work into our sun salutes like we have been doing. And then we're going to continue into them, weaving other poses in, moving our standing poses in. So, of course, take your time. Keep them modified if you want. Add on things if I'm not, right? So just kind of flow with it. Keep those big breaths moving, flowing, and move with those big breaths. So on an inhale, let's stretch the arms to the ceiling. Exhale, take yourself over into a fold. Inhaling, come halfway up, lean on the shins if you need, thighs maybe even. Exhale, step yourself back into plank. Knees if you'd like knees, elbows tight to the sides as everything comes to the floor together. And we inhale and roll our shoulders, tiny little baby cobra. Exhale, release that, move yourself back to down dog. And then inhale, step forward into the fold. Halfway up with that next inhale. Exhale back over. And then come all the way up, think flat back, reaching for the ceiling. Exhaling, release the arms. So again, just like that. Inhaling as you lift. Exhaling into the fold. Halfway up. And back to plank. Take the knees if you'd like. Drop to the belly, nice and controlled. Inhaling, roll into your cobra, maybe a little bigger this time. Keeping the elbows in, up and back, down dog. Inhale, step forward, fold. Halfway up. And back over. Reaching for the ceiling. Exhale and release. So we want one more of those. Just like that, you can modify it, of course, if you need, but you're going to be on your own. right? So you flow with your breath and do your thing, right? One cue. Inhale, reach. And go. All right. So this is where we're going to start to add on, right? Remember to connect with your breath, and if it isn't working out, just skip it or try something different in the middle. Right? So with this inhale here, we're going to move into a chair, and then exhale over into the fold. Coming halfway up, and back to our plank, all the way down to the belly. Cobra, back to down dog. And this time the right foot's going to step forward for lunge. Toes to fingers, even if it takes you a little extra second to get there. You can drive the back knee or the back heel. We're going to inhale, reach the upper body up and hold. Exhale yourself over, back into your lunge and down dog. Inhale, slide forward plank. Exhale to the belly. Inhale, cobra. Back down dog. So the left foot forward then, inhaling. Work your toes up there. Near heel to the mat and lift. And hold here. Exhale back into your lunge and down dog. Forward into plank. Down to the belly. Cobra. Down dog. Holding here. Drop down to child's pose if you need a little extra break. Big noisy breaths here in your down dog or child's pose. If you drop down, lift back to down dog. Inhaling, step the feet forward into fold. Halfway up on an inhale. Back over. Sitting into chair, inhale. Exhale to the top. All right. Adding on again. Inhale, sit into chair. Exhaling to your fold. Halfway up. Back to plank. All the way down. Cobra. Back to down dog. And then we inhale the right foot forward into that lunge again. So same thing here, take your time getting your toes to your fingers. Drop the back knee or heel and lift the upper body. If you're moving on, you're gonna need that back knee up off the floor. But take your time with it and modify if you need. Let's open the arms into warrior two. So right arm over right leg, left arm reaching back. Check in that you see your big toe here. You might need to change your stance a little bit. Even on the four corners of your feet, big breaths. With the next inhale, we're going to move back into that warrior one variation. Exhale, take yourself over into lunge and back to down dog. Slide forward plank. Drop to the belly. Cobra. Back to down dog. And it's the left foot's turn, bring it forward. Work it to where you need it. Back heel or knee, reaching up. Open-ended into warrior two. Making adjustments if you need to. The feet aren't always exactly where they need to be. Inhaling, bring yourself back to that warrior one. Exhale as you move into lunge and down dog. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale to the belly. Cobra. Back to down dog. Holding here, dropping into child's pose. Big ujjayi breath. Lifting back up if you drop down. Inhaling as we step the feet forward into fold. Halfway up. Exhale back over. Into chair. And exhale to release. I'm getting a little sweaty, are you? We've got one more here, adding on or not, as you know, right? Let's inhale as we sit into our chair, and exhale into the fold. Halfway up. Back to plank, and down to the belly, that same exhalation if you can. Roll into cobra. Back to down dog. And the right foot steps forward again. Get your toes up there, drop the back knee or heel and reach. Holding here, relax your shoulders. Open it into warrior two. This time, take that right leg straight, reach forward of the toes and exhale yourself over into a triangle. Lean on the leg if you need to lean. This left hand can be on the hip if that's where you need to be. Steady on your feet, big ujjayi breath. Inhale back to your warrior two. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale over to lunge and down dog. Slide forward plank and down to the belly. Into cobra. Back to down dog. Left foot's turn, bring it forward. Adjust it till you find that knee ankle alignment. Heel or knee to the mat, we lift the upper body. Open to warrior two. Left leg straight, reach forward and hinge over. Inhaling warrior two. Warrior one. Exhale, lunge and down dog. Last time today, slide forward into a plank. and down to the belly. Cobra. Back to down dog. And again here, down dog or child's pose, you decide. Big, smooth breaths. If you drop down, lift back to down dog. Inhaling the feet forward into a standing fold. Coming halfway up on the inhale. Folding back over. Into chair. And exhale, release it all. All right, so standing balance time. On your mat, off your mat, near a wall, whatever you need. Right. Maybe a chair or something to hang on to. Listening to your body always. Right? We want to grow, but we don't want to hurt ourselves in the process. Right. So let's take all the weight over into the right foot. We're going to lift the left knee. Keep it simple today. Open that left knee. You're going to find a place where your hips want to switch, right? Keep your hips steady and the knee is just open where it is. We bring the left foot to the inner right leg. Whether your toes are on the floor, at the calf, or the inner thigh, avoid being on your knee joint. Hugging the legs together. Little tuck of the tailbone should get taller. Big full breaths here. The hands can come to center. You can extend, you can open, you can look up, you can sway your branches in the breeze, right? Finding where you need to be today. Keeping your gaze steady. Big ujjayi breath flowing. Let's gently draw back in, releasing that side. And we'll move to the second side. So the same idea, all the weight left, lift the right, let the knee open. Again, before the hips start to go all wonky. I don't know what that was. And then hugging the legs together for stability, tucking the tailbone, standing nice and tall, deciding where the arms go. One more nice big ujjayi breath. And we'll bring it in. Releasing the arms and the legs. Or the legs and the arms, however that went. So we're going to come back over into our half fold here, supporting on the thighs if you need to support on the thighs. Moving into a full fold for just a moment here. I'm going to turn. You can see we're going to bring our feet together. And then we're going to squeeze the legs together as tight as we can, even if your legs don't meet. Hug them in the middle. Hands back to the upper thighs here, or the thighs, and into this version of chair. Squeeze your legs together like crazy. Keeping it simple, maybe. Take the right hand to the outside of the left knee, left hand to the hip. We'll twist, yeah? Making it a little more fancy if you'd like. Right elbow to the outside of the left knee. That might make your right knee pop forward, bring your legs apart, keep them even, squeeze them together like crazy. You can wiggle around a little bit in there, palms together, opening up into this variation. Stay even on your feet. It's really easy to topple over here if you don't. And then we're going to release that side back to the middle. Take the leg straight for a second here. And then let's move to that second side. So again, bending into the knees, coming up into chair. Whether you decide to take your left hand to the knee, right hand to the hip or your left elbow. Just give it a go, play with it, see, maybe it's somewhere in the middle, right? That's legit. Keeping the feet even. Hips square as much as you can. Big ujjayi breath. And then gently release the twist here. Straight legs. And then we'll step back into down dog again. Go ahead and drop on down to the knees. Take a little break in child's pose. Sort of shifting the focus. And then back to down dog again. We're going to step the right foot forward into our lunge. Toes to fingers here. And then you can absolutely just drop the left knee, but maybe see if you can roll over your back toes and then drop your knee. So your knee and ankle are a little closer together and the hips can shift a little lower. Right? Try and keep the right ankle down, the hips square, and your shoulders down and back. So you might need to stay on the floor. You can prop here, of course. You can climb up on the thigh. The more you press away from the thigh, the more back bend sensation you get, right? So just go gentle. The arms can extend, take cactus and release behind your back, all kinds of fun stuff if that's you today. Gently release what you got here. Roll over your back toes again and step back down dog. Wiggle, shift, bicycle the heels, whatever kind of releases that stretch. And then let's switch sides to bring the left foot forward. Finding your alignment, and you decide whether you just need to drop the back knee or you can bring it forward a little bit. Sink into your hips, that's the idea. Right? Keeping that left heel grounded, hands where they need to be. Take your time. Looking for sensation rather than the position of the body and what it looks like. Do you look like the picture in the book? Maybe not, but are you feeling the stretch? That'll work. Right? We've got one more breath. And then we release it over here. Gently make your way back to your down dog again. Give yourself a little wiggle. Dropping down to the knees. Go ahead and open your knees pretty wide and then step back into your child's pose. See if you can let your belly kind of sink between the legs, dropping a little deeper into the hips maybe. And then let's come up onto all fours. So here, go ahead and bring your feet just outside of your hands, just behind and outside of your hands. Toes turn up, my toes anyway, to the sides a little bit. That may help you. If you don't need them to have your feet together here, then give it a go. We're gonna bend into these, drop into the hips and squat. So different bodies need different accommodations. Maybe you need a block to sit on, right? Like I said, you can have your feet a little closer together. Maybe you need them a little wider. Maybe the toes need to point out more so that the knees can, right? And you can find this place of balance, pressing the upper arms into the legs and the legs pull back together. Draw the chest toward the thumbs. And I think I said this the other day. If your bottom's pretty close to the floor, sitting back is no big deal. If you're high, bring yourself to a seated position. You don't need to fall 2 feet to the floor. Unnecessary. So, finding a comfortable seat here, extending the legs out nice and long. Flex your feet to this point toward the ceiling. And again, we're upright on the pelvis. Let's reach the arms up. Simply fold over the legs. Keeping the shoulders back. Remember to not let the chest collapse. Keeping the shoulders wide, or the collarbones wide, maybe is a better way to stand up. With an inhale, let's come on up again. And release. Stepping the right foot flat to the floor. And you can have it on the inside or on the outside. So we want that foot to stay flat to the floor. We want to keep the pelvis upright. Maybe the left knee can bend and that heel can be in front of your right sit bone. Maybe not. So give it a go. And if it makes your hips all wonky or bothers your hip or whatever, makes your pelvis all wonky. Sit really tall wherever you are. Taking the left arm, wrap it around the leg. Right arm's going to go behind the back. And you can push and pull a little bit more to increase the sensation of your twist, if you need to. Keep the spine tall, relax through the shoulders. Maybe look over the shoulder if that's you. One more nice big breath. And then release that back to center. Unhook your legs. And switch. So the left foot flat, whether you're on the inside or the outside, whether the right leg is straight or bent. Pelvis is level, the spine is tall, that's what we care about. Taking the right arm and wrapping it, left arm behind the body. Finding the proper amount of sensation over on this side. Releasing that back to the middle again and unhooking the legs. So wiggle them around a little bit if that feels good. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Hang on to the ankles, lift the chest, lean back in balance. And then without releasing your feet to the floor, take the index and middle fingers and wrap them around your big toes. Keep the chest lifted. Stay balanced. See if you can take your right leg a little straighter. And then bring back in. How about the left? And bring those big noisy breaths. Do they get a little crazy? See if you can keep them nice and even and controlled. So whether your legs are straight or bent, see if you can bring them together. And then the real fun part, use your belly, keep your chest lifted, release your toes. Straight or bent. Bring the soles of the feet back together. Hang on to the ankles again. And then roll down. Keeping the feet together, drop the heels toward the floor. And the feet toward the floor. Relaxing your belly, your hips. And then drawing the knees together and into the chest. Let yourself rock a little bit here. We'll take the feet to the floor. It feels so good, I don't want to do anything else. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. And reach the fingers behind the right thigh. Interlace. Try and keep your shoulders down and back. Try and keep your pelvis neutral on the floor. So we don't want the bum rolling up so your tailbone's pointing toward the ceiling. And then you can pull in on that right thigh, press the left leg away until you find sensation. When it's enough, it's enough. You don't have to go crazy. We've worked on the hamstrings pretty good. If you wanted to take that right leg straight, you could. Keep the feet flexed. Keep the arms pulling in and now use the leg to push back away. Make it really active even though it looks like nothing's happening. And then gently release, taking both feet flat to the floor. Let's switch sides. Right ankle over left, reaching back behind the left thigh here. Same idea. Keeping the spine as neutral as you can. Pulling the leg in. Maybe taking the left leg straight, adding a little bit of pressure with your right elbow. Again, just kind of finding where the sensation is for you. Everyone's body is a little bit different and we just have to live with it, don't we? Keep the arms pulling toward the body, press the leg back. And then gently release both feet to the floor. Let's go ahead and open the arms out into a T position here. Picking up your hips, move them to the right edge of your mat. Drop your knees to the left. Relax the legs and the shoulders. Look over the right hand if you want. And remember, you can add on or not. Just totally rest in this position, or you can make it as active as you want. Keep those big, full breaths going. We'll take one more breath over on this side. And then make your way back up to center. Take the hips to the middle and then hips to the left and knees to the right. Adding on or relaxing into this twist. One more breath over on this side. And then we'll make it back up to center. Hips back to the middle. And then one more time here, knees into the chest and rock. Squeeze the knees in as tight to the chest as you can get. Pull your forehead toward your knees. And then release it, taking a full body stretch. Releasing that stretch, find Shavasana. Whatever that's going to look like, whether you're laying flat, feet are flat, you're propped, maybe seated against the wall. You decide where to be. And then let the body rest there. Release control of those big noisy breaths. If it is chilly where you are, maybe throw a blanket or socks or something on. Making the body super, super comfortable so you don't have to attend to it anymore. The mind can stay present without worrying about that kind of thing. And let your mind rest too. Slowly draw in a deep cleansing breath. And gently allow your body to move and stretch. When you're ready, slowly making your way up to a seated position. taking a comfortable seat, bringing the palms to touch, bowing to the light within. Namaste. So thanks for joining me this morning, whether it's this morning or some other day. Hopefully you got what you needed. Right? Remember, you could always make a class yours, even if you were in a group class, right? But you don't want to go super crazy doing something no one else is doing, right, the whole time. But make sure you're listening to your body and doing what's right for you at that moment. So I will be starting another 5-day challenge before the end of the month. I've got some other things in my brain. We'll see how that manifests. But I'll keep you posted, right? Have a wonderful weekend. It's going to get chilly, so keep that Ujjayi breath and flow in mind, all right? See you guys. Enjoy.